Okay, so I'm going to make this video on Medicare Advantage plans. I want to get right to the point. There's not going to be any fancy things that fly up on the screen or whatever. I'm going to have my phone number in the description box below so you'll be able to see it. I think I'll even throw it up here on the screen just so you can see it. But that's the only visuals I will put up on the screen for this video. Now, the Medicare Advantage plans, I want to explain both the good and the bad. And a lot of agents love these plans. A lot of agents hate these plans. It's kind of like it's not so much, it's a gray area, but a lot of agents go one way or the other. And from what I've seen, this is how it works. Most of the agents that I've seen online that have said, I can't stand the Advantage plans, or this is why you don't want to do it. These are probably the agents who have been around the longest. And I'll get to why I'm going to say that. Now, the other agents, not saying that maybe that some of them have been around for 20 years, I don't know. But back in 2009, and this is why all of us have to be financial advisors to ourselves in 2022, 2023, and probably for many years to come. 2009, if you were an agent, I spent the majority of my time after the economic crash flipping people from Medicare Advantage plans into medigap plans. Now, what happened was the medigap plans, this is off of my memory, but the medigap plans might have been for a G plan, depending on your age, it might have been $130 a month. And that pays for everything except for a small deductible per year. This year it happens to be $233 for the year. That's like what, $15 a month if you were to just throw it into your premium. So what happened with the the Medicare Advantage plans, back then, money was tight and everything was going crazy. So the Advantage plans started to up their prices. So right now, fast forward to 2022 or 23, and we have zero premium plans. Back then, what happened was, and other years too, I think it was about 2013 or 15 or whatever it was, they came out with a zero premium, then they raised it again. But back then, what we saw was if this company had and this is me, just what I think, if the company had 1 million people on that plan, just imagine if it was a zero premium plan and it went to $25 a month for that plan. Even if it went to $5 a month instead of zero, that's $5 million that the company is going to make from people paying the premium on that plan. So if you think about it, what is the number that's going to make you quit the plan and say, I want to go somewhere else? Is it $5, $25 a month? Is it $100? Well, what I have seen is that in my experience, the number's about $75 to $100 is where people say, whoa, I was paying zero. Now all of a sudden it's gone. I'm getting out of here. That's like the psyche I've seen. But up until then, I mean, a plan can go from 0 to 25 to 50 a month, and most people will just say, well, it's $50 a month. You know, I was paying zero a couple of years ago. But that company's now making $50 million a month on top of, instead of the zero premium. They're making that much, and the benefits will not change that much. They might even, meaning it might cost more to go to the doctor or more to go to the hospital. So one question that I forgot to address that I'm going to put in here is, people ask me, well, how do they charge zero premium? Their answer to that is they get subsidies from the federal government. So you can't charge zero and have all these people and you're paying out for benefits and so forth. They're subsidized by the government. So what happens if those subsidies start going down and you start to see our government's having problems with money? The debt is going crazy. Inflation's going crazy. The Federal Reserve is now raising rates and so forth. So they could be raising, not 2023, but 2024. They could start raising these Advantage plan rates just on that alone. Now, a lot of these senior agents out there have seen this, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are saying to themselves, I've seen this before. I don't like it. I don't want to get my clients into this situation where they're paying more money for a plan that's not as good as like a G plan or an F plan or any of these medigap plans. Problem with the gap plans on the other side is, number one, they can get very, very expensive as time goes on. And if people have health issues, they're not able to switch in and out of different companies. And so they're stuck on one company. They keep raising the rates, and eventually they go to like $500, maybe $600 a month. It could be a long time. It could be 15 years from the time they started. But once it gets there, they say to themselves, I'm already spending $6,000 or $7,000 a year. Why don't I go to a Medicare Advantage and the max out of pocket is $7,000 or $7,500, whatever. And so it starts to make sense. And with the gap plans also, they do not have vision, dental, hearing, or prescriptions attached to them. So people have to get that separate. And so some people like that. It's okay. They might have 3 different cards in their wallet or purse, and they have fantastic coverage. Now, as far as hospital and doctor, you can't, especially hospital, you can't get better than the gap plans, especially G or N, whatever covers your hospital coverage 100%. Because you can go anywhere in the country and have anything done by any hospital, and most likely you're going to walk out of there with a zero copay. So you can't beat that. Whereas if you have an advantage plan, a lot of people worry, yes, it's a PPO, but what's that mean for the networks? Can I go here? Can I go there? What if I travel? All these different things they get nervous about. Most people, I mean, I've done this, I've learned to do this over the years, and I don't know if it's good or bad. But I used to tell people, I don't sell Medicare Advantage plans. I literally flat out would tell them no. That was back because it was so long ago. Now I've said, oh, okay. I've seen some of my clients have been with me for so many years that they're paying this large sum of money. And what I always tell people, I don't hear this term a lot, is the trial right, which one time you can go from your gap plan to your Medicare Advantage, to a Medicare Advantage plan. And if you're unhappy with that Medicare Advantage plan, any month of the year, within 1 year, you can switch back to your gap plan. So if you're on a plan G, you're paying $500 a month or $400 or whatever is too much for you, and you say to yourself, I've never been on a Medicare Advantage plan before, let me trial it, trial right. You go to that plan. You're on it for 3 months, you're on it for 8 months, anything within 1 year, and you say, I want to go back. Or if you say, I want to stay on this plan, it's fine. If you want to go back, you can go back to your old plan, no health questions asked. And here's the thing. Some people would say, well, what if the company went away or whatever? That's actually better for the person. This happened to me. Company no longer sells medigap plans. It was a smaller company. They didn't go bankrupt or anything. But when they were still on that plan, when that person went to that trial right, what happens is you go back to your old plan. They don't have it. You're automatically go into a special enrollment period. You get to pick the company with the same exact plan. So if you were on a G, went to a Medicare Advantage, try to go back to that company, you couldn't. You get to pick any other company G plan and pay the price, pay that cost. And it's usually a lot less. So that's a good thing. Number 2, if you stay on that Medicare Advantage plan, let's say you say, oh, I don't want to go back. And then you stay there 2-3 years. Then you want to go back to the gap plan. A lot of times I get comments which say, you can't go back. A lot of agents like myself say, you're not going to be able to go back. But what they fail to say is that you're not going to be able to go back without underwriting or health questions. So it's not that you can't go back. You can go back. They're just going to ask you, have you had cancer, heart attack, stroke, in the last 5 years, blah, blah, blah. That's underwriting. And if you're healthy or fairly healthy, I've had people that have had heart attacks and then 5 years later have switched their gap plan. If you're healthy, you can go from that Medicare Advantage back to that gap plan, or, for the first time, go back to the gap plan. Whatever, as many times as you want. So it's not impossible to get back on there. You just have to realize that there could be a possibility that you're on a Medicare Advantage forever, unless a company comes out with a guaranteed issue, which I've seen before too. And what they do is they end up raising the prices on that one plan. So that can be disastrous. That's a whole nother topic. But, you don't, a lot of times a guaranteed issue plan is the only time that some people can go, back to a gap plan. They jump on that guaranteed issue and the prices shoot up from every year, and it's a disaster. Anyway, so that is basically the gist of this. So whether or not you like Medicare Advantage or Medigap plan is really up to you. Some people love their Advantage plan. All their doctors are in network. They don't have to travel far to go anywhere. Their hospitals are taking it, and they get vision, dental, and hearing and prescription. they get all these extra perks with it, maybe silver sneakers and so forth, and so they love the plan and they don't spend a lot of money on it. Other people are like, hey, I had to go in the hospital a couple times last year, which is, I've asked seniors, it's unusual to go in the hospital multiple times. It means something was wrong, but it can happen to people and they don't want to spend all that money. So I've been going on for about 10 minutes, so I'm going to say sayonara now. If you have any questions, my number is in the description box below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you at the next one.